All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the I Can Do This All Day podcast. In case anyone's wondering why I am chuckling right now, it's because we're doing the old Wayne's World countdown for this. Yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, go watch Wayne's World, and yeah, that's all we got. But I'm Dan, the part-time Avenger. That's Mark, the resident Jedi.
Hello there. Dan's hesitation there was sucking my will to live for a minute, but you know what recharges my will to live, and that's sci-fi, and more specifically space, the final frontier. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We are going to show you, tell you, and explain to you our Mount Rushmores of space movies.
Space movies, the final frontier. Your origin with space movies, Mark. What is a prerequisite to be on your Mount Rushmore? And just give me your overall upbringing with space movies.
I feel like I grew up in the golden age of space movies while the trilogy was out already on VHS, and then we were just out there doing more and more. For me, a space movie to hit the Rushmore has to be impactful to the genre, taking it forward. It has to lead to more space movies, whether it be in the same franchise or stepping forward in general. And I feel like it's just got to be good. It's got to be quotable. It's got to be something that is just ever present. And the more you watch it, the more you realize that, man, this could be reality in a galaxy far, far away. What about you? What were the criterion for your extraterrestrial filmations?
I was never a huge fan of space movies. I enjoyed them. But it wasn't something that I would seek out to where it's like, oh, I want to check out that new space movie in the theaters, right? But there is a certain upbringing of certain movies that I watched on repeat that had to do with space. So I think there's a little bit of a soft spot, but also a very deep bias on what I like in my space movies. And so there's a few on this list that I'm sure some people could guess, and who knows, maybe there's even some similarities between our lists. But overall, I wouldn't say I'm a space guy, but I do enjoy a good space movie. It needs to be, just like what you were saying, it needs to be a good movie. I don't even think it needs to be quotable. I just happen to enjoy a movie more when there are quotes that I enjoy saying at random times throughout the day, and no one understands them except for like a select few people, so that's always fun. But for my Mount Rushmore, kind of my prerequisites were they needed to be iconic, they needed to make me feel something, but they also needed to be in space. So that was another thing. Kind of needed to be in space.
Got to be in
some
space.
Some of these may be a little bit, maybe even viewed negatively. But hey, it's my Mount Rushmore, so until you have your own podcast, that's mine, and this is ours, so deal with it.
Deal with it.
Do you have any honorable mentions for space movies?
I have so many honorable mentions. This list was hard for me to do because I just enjoy sci-fi, right? I was sad I had to leave Spaceballs off this, first and foremost. That was my first.
Was it in space or was it on a soundstage?
It doesn't matter. It was great. I also left off like Apollo 13. There's none of my space movies are historically accurate, but some of them try and be realistic. But there's so many space movies that I think could be on this list. But I think Spaceballs was the one that I'm just like, if I could get 5, Spaceballs would be on it. What about you? What was your first off the list?
My first one off the list, and it was really tough. I literally just yanked it off in the favor of another movie, and it was Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Part of it's because of the recency factor. It's all in space, number one, except for the end for Peter Quill. But at the same time, it was one of the most emotionally charged movies that I've seen in a very long time. And so that's where I was like, oh, God, can I keep this off the list? But I did. So that's an honorable mention. But I also did have, there's a few other ones that have to deal with space. Like I thought E.T. would be right there, but at the same time, it doesn't take place in space. E.T. is a character from space, but not so much the case. But yeah, that's kind of where, like, those are my big two, because, when you think of aliens, you kind of think of space. And unfortunately, E.T. just took place in a nice little town. And yeah.
Same
But
as
yeah,
Men in
that's
Black,
pretty
right?
much it. Well, it depends on what you think space is. Men in Black is a very interesting one because is Earth really just a marble in a sack? Like that's kind of like the crazy thing about that. And I thought they did that very well in those movies. It's like the universe is much bigger than what you think. And I can't remember if it was the second movie or I think it was the second movie where it's like, yeah, the Earth is just basically like a marble and they're playing a game with it, right? I think it's one of those movies, but fun stuff anyway. But yeah, arguable that it's in space or not. So let's, anything else you want to talk about in terms of any of the other movies that you had as honorable mentions?
I think we just get into it. I think that that this is going to be a fun discussion because I love space movies. I like turtles.
Right. Well, here we go. Up on the very first movie of our Mount Rushmore of space movies, we've got 2001: A Space Odyssey. Mark, this one's yours. Tell us a little bit about the pick.
I mean, if there was any movie that started the space movie, the suspenseful space movie trend, it was this. And yeah, as much as I'm not a Kubrick fan, I think this movie is way too long, and the suspense is painful to sit in. It also really gives a solid, like, that's what it would be like in space. And the fact that the villain isn't an alien, it is a man-created AI. Talk about something that, for some reason, is more relevant now than it was when this movie came out. That the AI is the reason that is the reason for the demise of the characters is pretty crazy. And if you watch this, it's very believable that mankind within a semi-reasonable amount of time, like from the late 70s when this came out to the year 2001, could make the jump to do this, to make this ship, to use the AI to fly across the galaxy and do this. So just realistic enough to be believable, and such a great journey from a storytelling perspective that it's referenced a ton and hugely kicked off things for other movies, I think. Move the genre forward.
Definitely. And this is one of those iconic movies, so I can't argue with this. I do agree that it is a little too long. My very first viewing of this was in high school in a science class. I think the teacher just didn't want to teach and was like, you know what? 2001: A Space Odyssey. Here we go. So I had to watch it in chunks at first, and then I started realizing, like, oh man, yeah, they totally did this in The Simpsons, right? And there's an episode or two, maybe more than that they kind of did a Hal type of parody or caricature of. So yeah, can't complain with Kubrick and A Space Odyssey, and it does say space in the title, so how could it not be on the Mount Rushmore?
No mistake in that.
But the next movie up, it's gonna be my pick. It's Apollo 13. So it's funny that you said that this was left off of your list, but I am not a huge Tom Hanks fan to where it's like, oh, I need to see that Tom Hanks movie. But this was one of those movies that I think I saw multiple times in theaters. Not because I was like super jazzed about it, but because it was the best of what was at Brementown Theater. And it's like, for $1.50, you can't go wrong with seeing a movie for $1.50. So you go with your friends and you watch something, or you go with your parents, or you go by yourselves and watch something. Unfortunately, I don't even know if there's any dollar theaters anymore. I think they've turned into $5 theaters, if they are still around. Apollo 13 is on my pick just because the music the cast, the acting, the problem solving, the problems, the shattered dreams of these astronauts wanting to go to the moon and expecting to get to the moon all of a sudden turns into a survival mission of, we need to figure out how the hell we're going to get back home. And it was very interesting to me, even at a very young age, as to how they scienced the hell out of that shit and were able to get back home. So I don't know the full accuracy of that movie. I never really looked it up. And I kind of don't want to, just because I want to keep the movie in high regard. Part of the reason why I don't view Remember the Titans as my greatest sports movie of all time, even though I think it really is because of the historical inaccuracies of everything. So if I wouldn't have watched the special features, if I wouldn't have done the fact-finding mission of like, what was true in this movie, I probably would be a lot happier with it. So Apollo 13, I haven't touched at all. On my Mount Rushmore, Hanks does a great job. Kevin Bacon, Gary Sinise as well. Can't complain about anything about that movie, really. So that's why it's on my Mount Rushmore.
It is a tale of one of the greatest moments of human ingenuity, and it's a good movie. Don't get me wrong, and it's fairly historically accurate. I've actually been, and if you're ever in Houston and have like a couple hours, you can go to the mission control from the actual Apollo missions. And really, they've preserved it. It is super cool. And exactly like the movie, because they used it in the movie, I believe, or awesome. Recreated it.
Even better for my Mount Rushmore. You're just making me so happy right now. All right, but going into the next pick on the Mount Rushmore, this is yours, Mark. We got The Martian.
What can't you say? It's Matt Damon in a really amazing movie. I watch this movie more than I probably would admit. It's just a great story. It's got the resiliency factor of an Apollo 13. It's got the human and spirit of colonization, but finding a way out of the no-win scenario, the ingenuity of somebody who can make something out of nothing and just keep going, using drive and will to do it. There's so many great actors and actresses in this film, right? I mean, Donald Glover plays like a random scientist. There's so much talent in this. And one of the greatest Sean Bean callbacks of all time. One of the only movies Sean Bean doesn't die in. And they make a full-on Lord of the Rings reference where Sean Bean has to explain the Council of Elrond, which he was a part of. So, I mean, this is full-on nerd nirvana. And it's written so well, and the journey is so solid. This is a movie that wherever it's at in it, I can turn it back on and watch it.
It's a great pick. I mean, Matt Damon, great actor, and I loved the fact that he really hacked everything that he could in order to survive up there. No joke, I am growing potatoes in my backyard because of this movie.
Did you use your own shit to do it?
No, I used other people's shit. That was the whole point. Oh. That's the reason why I'm telling you the story. No, I didn't use anyone's shit, but I was figuring like, hey, if he could grow potatoes from shit, I can definitely grow potatoes in nutrient-rich soil. So so far so good.
I've got to ask,
sprouts coming up.
I've got to ask, how does your Irish wife feel about being a potato farmer?
Well, she probably doesn't feel that great about it now because you said something like that. So
I'm just asking.
You should shut your damn mouth. But
I thought I'd love to see her give you shit about it. Is what I really would enjoy in a very big way. How culturally insensitive of you, Daniel.
No. Name's not Daniel, too. You should know that. You should know that it's not Daniel. So how dare you? How dare you? You insult me and my wife and my family. I have to fight you to the death now.
Oh, but, okay, potato farmer.
So we've got the Martian, great movie. Can't argue with that pick. But yeah, so good pick, good solid pick. The next one up on my Mount Rushmore is Sunshine, And this is kind of a cult classic type of movie, but in case you haven't heard about this movie, there's so many people in it. You've got Cillian Murphy, Chris Evans, Rose Byrne, Michelle Yeoh, Hiroyuki Sanada. There's so many people. And you got Wong in there as well. So it's like, holy shit, there's so many people in here that make the movie itself just better. And it's like a really cool dynamic. It does have a weird twist in the third act. And I'm not going to say that it's the best twist, but at the same time, it's a nice, creative, original thought of trying to maneuver something. But basically, if you don't know this movie, they need to save the sun. The sun is dying, and these astronauts and team of military personnel and some other cast that's in there, they go up and try to save the Earth. And so it's kind of like a really cool premise. Obviously this is very, very familiar because in case you've seen the movie Project Hail Mary, almost the same premise of why they're going into space. So, but really good, solid performances from Evans. He plays like a straight to the by the book mission military type of person, and it's kind of just like a refreshing type of look of like, especially if you've seen Evans in a lot of the other movies, if you want to see him kind of like, I don't know if I like this guy, this is kind of a movie that you would want to see. The versatility's right there. And then you have Rose Byrne in there, who's one of my favorites, and she just plays the part of a sympathetic, empathetic astronaut to the T. And you kind of feel bad for every single person on this crew because it eventually gets to the point of where it's like, this is a one-way ticket, like that's it. So it is what it is. But Sunshine on my Mount Rushmore. Mark, any thoughts?
This might be our 4th of July movie with some Evans in it, baby.
I wouldn't disagree with that. So until then, hopefully that'll be the next time we talk about Sunshine. But anyone who is into space movies, check it out. But going on to the next pick, we've got Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. Khan! This is Mark's pick.
This is absolutely my pick because revenge is a dish best served cold. I mentioned in my criteria that it has to set off more movies, right? This is part of the probably the 3 best OG Star Trek movies, right? Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock, and Journey Home. A solid arc that goes movie to movie and really saved, I think, Star Trek in general, because the first Star Trek motion picture was a little weird. It wasn't very good. It's not so much. But this brought it back. And I think that without this movie being as great as it is, I don't think you get the other Star Trek movies. I don't think you get Next Generation. I don't think you get all the TNG movies. I don't think you get any of those other series. And that's why I think this belongs on Mount Rushmore. And Ricardo Montalban in this movie is amazing. Like, it's just so good and such a sci-fi thing to take an episode of an old show and reference it to make a whole movie out of it. This is one of the best space movies, and it's campily hilarious, like full on Shatnerness in it. And it asks, the age old question. Do the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few?
If anyone has checked out our retro rewinds, this was one of the episodes that I believe it was this and Back to the Future that we did, right? If I'm not mistaken, but could be wrong on the combo. But yeah, we did an episode on this. My thoughts are on there. And it was actually one of the funniest episodes that we had because it just... it was very interesting because I'm not a Star Trek fan, and I watched that movie because it was held in the highest regard. I think it was the critic rating was high up there, but I'm not going to tell you right now because I don't want to poop on Mount Rushmore at all, but it's polarizing as to what our thoughts are. But I can totally understand why this would be on yours, because it is an iconic movie. Even the people that don't necessarily like it, they refer to it, they joke about it, they yell "Khan" at the top of their lungs while shaking their fists. So totally get it. So yeah, Star Trek. There's a lot of fans out there, so I applaud all of you, and yeah, I applaud you for this pick. But there's a last pick, and for anyone who's doing the math, Mount Rushmores usually have 4 spots on them, but this is one that we both share, so I figured that would be very fitting that we would end on this one. And both of our Mount Rushmores have... Oh, I'm sorry. Nope, sorry. Totally fucked that one up. It's Aliens.
The
I got
lead
Aliens.
in
I've
to
got
the
Aliens.
fumble.
It's my pick. My second to last pick is Aliens, because it's in fucking space, and it was by far one of, if not the best, sci-fi action movies that are out there. Get away from her, you bitch! Fantastic. Game over, man.
I mean,
so many quotes. And a badass female character in the lead role that knows how to handle herself. And it's just so sweet of a movie. Love it, love it, love it. Have been watching it ever since I've been 6 years old. And I want to say this is probably in the triple-digit viewings. Aliens. Great movie.
is it bad that I like Starship Troopers better than Aliens?
Yeah, it is. That's 100%. 100%. I like Starship Troopers, but yeah, not as much as Aliens. Aliens is so damn good, expertly done. Even the longer version of Aliens, I could get down with. James Cameron loves to make long movies, and I watched the special edition or whatever the director's cut, whatever it was called, and it has a little bit more explanation about the planet that they land on and everything. Another scene with Newt and her family. It's just super cool. And yeah, I might just go watch it after this. Like, such a damn good movie. But it's got everything that I love. Action. You've got a great cast. Jeanette Goldstein, Michael Biehn, Lance Henriksen, freaking Paul Reiser, for God's sake. One of the best villains, because you just can't help but hate the guy. He's just a squirmy little bitch, and you just love to hate him, and that's when you know you got a good villain, is when you love to hate him. But yeah, that's my second to last pick on Mount Rushmore. But if you just rewind back about a minute or so, I had this really great lead-in to a joined Mount Rushmore movie that we have, and to no further avail, let's go break them off with our top spot on the Mount Rushmore, and that is Star Wars, or A New Hope if you are factoring in all the other movies as well. But Star Wars, so damn good. How can this not be on anyone's Mount Rushmore?
I don't know. It is such an iconic, boundary pushing, innovative, just great movie. It literally set the stage for half the movies on the list.
Very good practical effects, special effects, everything. Just such a well done movie. I'm not going to say it's the best acted movie, because I think we all know that there's some poor acting in it, but still really good, still really solid, and my top Star Wars movie. So it's not only my top space movie, but it's my top Star Wars movie, just because I've watched this over, it's hundreds of times that I've seen this movie, hundreds. And
I would say that it's inspired hundreds of movies and TV shows beyond that. So deservedly so. It is the George Washington of our Mount Rushmore, because it cannot be denied.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But that wraps it up for our Mount Rushmore. I am super stoked that we just did this episode, and it's just so much fun. So much fun. It's overall, when it comes to the final frontier, let's explore. Let's just get some alien friends and explore. Let's gas up the DeLoreans. Let's get into the Millennium Falcons, climb into an X-Wing, a B-Wing, Y-Wing, whatever fucking type of chicken wing that you want, and let's just go out into space, because there's so much more out there. But until that happens, I'm Dan, the part-time Avenger. That is Mark, the resident Jedi.
Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what we missed. What's on your Mount Rushmore? Let us know at I Can Do This All Day podcast on all of the socials. Leave it in the comments. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you want more of us bantering about movies that we love.
Make it so.
Engage.